RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. Free broadcast? I'm not sure what we call this. But welcome back regardless. It is Friday. TGIF, I suppose, and all that. And so now it feels like I've got the cold. Boo, it says boo. Anyway, it's the way it goes. So you can probably hear it in my voice as well, too. I finally got a friggin' doctor cornered. So hopefully we'll get a doctor to help me flush out my ear. Oh, man, it's been driving me crazy for, Jesus, a couple months now, eh? Anyway, kind of weird. I don't know whether it's psychosomatic, but I did notice when I went on my trip, it didn't bug me nearly as much. But anyway, it's here nor there. So happy Friday. Today was kind of a pretty thick news day because we had jobs reports come out for North America, Canada and the United States. And on first blush, frankly speaking, I thought the jobs numbers were pretty good. It seemed to me, I got the impression that the numbers were relatively well received. You can see here non-farm payrolls in the States came in plus 275,000, and that's like almost a 50% better than expectation. With that. Unemployment rate, interestingly enough, actually ticked up. So what does that mean? More people are re-entering the workforce or re-entering the job market after the stupid sickness world. And you can even hear, if you listen to Jerry's semi-annual Humphrey Hawkins testimony, past few days, we've been listening to that diligently on the site. First, he had a go at the U.S. House of Representatives. Always fun listening to them. And it's hilarious how the MMT people who were just so full of themselves, just we're gonna make everything right. They can't buy a break these days. So there's three of them in the U.S. Congress. I won't name names. You all know who they are. And one of them, I swear, she's like, one of these days she's gonna walk up, she's gonna punch Jerry in the face. She's so militant. I think she has a bald head and the whole damn thing. Anyway. So you can see they're all frustrated to no end because their socialist dreams are basically evaporating in front of their eyes. Go back to sort of real world economics. In fact, to be perfectly honest with you, I have to commend the Americans. And you've heard me talk about this. Hell, anybody who's taken my education program, you know that I'm a US dollar bull now for just even, where are we, 2024? So for at least another 10, 11, 12 years. And I have to commend the Americans. Anytime we look at the data, they are trying to get control of their money printing situation. The central banksters consistently say to the U.S. government, look at this fiscal policy is unsustainable. You're on an unsustainable path. Try to do something to correct it. We're trying to reel in all this quantitative easing nonsense. And I've told you repeatedly, the only reason why they did that was because they floated a whole bunch of bad bonds, and the people that they floated the bonds to said, look, we're just going to dump these things into the market and bankrupt you, or you take them off our hands now. And mysteriously, you came up with this quantitative easing bullshit nonsense, which, 20, 30, 40 years down the road, we're going to look back and go, Jesus, what a scam these stupid banksters pulled on everyone. I mean, it's the same nonsense. It's just rinse and repeat. But anyway, point of the matter here is like in China, and I've showed you this repeatedly, there are no checks and balances. And I hate to say it, but the inflation problem in Canada is not going away anytime soon. And I can still see it at the grocery store. It's kind of pathetic, really. Like wheat prices are back below what they were before any of this crap. You know, you could even make the argument wheat prices now are the same prices they were in like 2014. And yet, mysteriously, a loaf of bread is still like $3 here in China. A dozen eggs is like $4 and rising. Why? Because it's all about the fucking money printing. It has nothing to do with the price of wheat. So, anyway. So, back to our story. Brian got off on a rant there again. Um, the data, I got the impression that on first blush, the data was actually pretty good. But then you actually start digging into the data and you realize, wait a minute, there's some problems here. I think more importantly, when you read through the data, it turns out that the December reading was revised lower and the January reading was revised sharply lower. So it turns out that actually, if you look at this entire period, employment combined was 167,000 lower than previously reported. Wait a minute, something screwy's going on. And oh, by the way, and this, you know, if you're watching this channel for the first time, of course, you're listening to the Brian Nutso rant Vegas guy. But you need to understand that this employment report is highly politicized. And of course, the socialists are in power right now. And of course, we have an election coming up. So, you know, could they be manipulating the data points from month to month to month to try and, you know, sort of get the headline numbers that the public sees in the newspaper slightly revised, or not revised, but slightly artificially inflated? And in actual reality, the numbers aren't nearly as robust as you think. And unfortunately, I think actually that's the case. So on first blush, like I said, the numbers actually came out pretty strong. But when you actually pick them apart and you actually look at where the jobs they're being reported, government, you know, we don't want government jobs. Remember, governments don't do anything. Governments, you know, anytime you have a government, and this is the worst part about China, right, is that half of the people in this country derive some sort of income from government, but government doesn't do anything. They don't produce any goods or services. They're a net drain on the economy. This is why socialism doesn't work. This is why the Soviet Union collapsed and all of that socialist dream in Eastern Europe didn't work, because you can't have the society dependent on government to produce, because it doesn't. Government's a drain. So, you know, here's another problem with this report. And then if you actually look at the manufacturing sector, manufacturing not actually is decreasing this past month. So there were a lot of problems with this employment report when you actually sort of like picked it apart. And so as a result, you can see first thing this morning, and you know, in the day trader room, we're sitting there scratching our heads going, gee whiz, looks like they want to take this market higher. Then when they started picking this thing apart and actually digging into the numbers, you can see the whole damn market kind of just puked out here. And tech stocks are not happy at all right now. There might also be other factors involved here. I did notice, I looked at some tech stocks and I was like, gee whiz, this is getting into nosebleed territory. How insanely inflated some of these numbers were. Have you guys looked at that Nvidia recently? Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it when I saw that silly thing. And what's interesting about this was, you know, this is well, this is our fun Shiba Inu, but this is my way this current quarter on how I'm playing the the whole you know, I won't say semiconductor, but you know, like video rendering and AI and all that kind of crap, right? And I actually had to force myself to ring the register here this morning, playing this market on a little bit of you know, the whole DeFi thing. So moving, you know, assets from one exchange to another and trying to get fills, and it's a bit of a challenge unto itself. But I was pretty happy to see, even with these crazy GUI, how do you pronounce this? GWEI? GUI? Anyway, this is half the battle when dealing with DeFi, not trying to avoid paying these insane fees. But I was able to move money over and get filled. And so, long and short of it here, banging out doubles. In this case, actually, this was a triple off of the bottom. Of course, established a risk-free trade going forward, so it can't get hurt on this now. But, if anything, I'm hearing a lot of sort of circle jerky kind of talk, and it's supposed to, let's look at a little Shiba Inu. This is going to be second doubles. We'll see whether I can get a fill here. I missed this because another person's actually managing this particular position. And it's always a broken telephone game in this silly game to get fills. But anyway, he's got the order working now. So we'll see whether we get a fill here through the weekend on this guy. But, anytime you see a market go straight up like this, if anything, you should be like, well, I mean, if you're a contrarian, we sit here for months and, weeks and months on end just waiting. Oh, it's banging around. Oh, it's doing nothing. Oh, I'm picking up little nanny nibbles, blah, 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 blah. When the market goes like this, which it doesn't do very often, this is when you have to pay yourself for your hard-earned efforts. Hard-earned efforts? Or hard work, whatever. So, I mean, I'm busy in here. I mean, I can't believe how many doubles I banged out. But anyway, I was really proud this morning. Hey, we got off a triple here, so that was kind of cool. And I might make the same argument with good old Bitcoin. If we look at this on a weekly basis, oh my goodness. What concerns me a little bit about this space right now, of course, again, people just are like, I saw somebody, of course, our TRI lounge. I absolutely love our community. Number one, our community is a bit of a safe place. So nobody at TRI is going to tell you to come in and FOMO in at the top of the market here. But what we will do is we will post other people. And what really pisses me off is that there was a guy that we spent a lot of time trying to teach how to do this whole trading thing, but he was long Bitcoin from basically nothing. And he's the kind of guy who says, don't obey technical analysis, just buy and you'll get rich. And of course, unfortunately, that was into this mess. And, all those people that listened to him, oh boy, they had to go through a hell of a long slog there. I saw him coming out recently and saying, but you gotta buy Bitcoin. You gotta buy. And it's like, you gotta be kidding me. All this time and effort I spend in this space to try and teach people, and this guy does that. I was pretty disappointed when I saw that this morning. But anyway, suppose it's business as usual. If you're running sort of the shill machine and you want more and more followers and all that kind of stuff, then time to get circle jerking. I would strongly suggest you refrain from stepping in and risking your hard-earned money here. I think the risk is extremely high, but I'm a risk-first kind of guy. So that means unless we're in green boxes, I'm probably going to say that things are pretty risky and you're taking a bit of a chance. So we're nowhere near green boxes. And if anything, if we're watching this for the first time, anybody can do this. And we teach this, of course, in our education program, 61.8 to 78.6 fibs. I just simply put a green box over this range. And all that is just the range from here to here. And, wonderful buying windows, 78.6s. I think are historically a fantastic level to consider, like actually risking your hard-earned money. So it's very, very difficult for me to justify coming in here. And, even old stalwarts, I tweeted this out because when I saw this is scaring me a little bit. And actually interesting, today being Friday, we have on special guests on our after party on TRI. And usually what happens is as we head into these big celestial events, which I think often act as really great catalysts for sort of change in our society, the public gets sort of like lulled to sleep. They got lulled to sleep through that Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto cross, and people basically completely disregarded it and got all wrapped up in things like insurrections. and sicknesses and stuff, and MMT nonsense talk, and didn't even really understand that we're at a major long-term cyclical pivot for the market. I don't think that this is a long-term cyclical pivot, but it is one of these kind of pivots where I think, the last time we went through one of these eclipse windows, you can see the market had consolidated for, geez, a better part of like 6, 8 months. And then we went through the eclipse window, and this was almost like the market was given permission to take off. And as soon as we went through that window, woohoo! Well, here we are, folks. And I've often seen this in my career that the market will pivot from one eclipse window to another eclipse window. So here we are. We're coming into the next eclipse window. Hey, what a big surprise. Oh, thank you. We're coming up on time here. Man, what a big surprise. Here's Bitcoin going absolutely crazy into this event. And I get the impression, I'm starting to hear people say, this time it's different. And, I even tweeted out the other day, Litecoin, it topped out almost exactly, and it loves to top out right around a month ahead of its halving event. I've seen Bitcoin, and I think the 2015-16 cycle, that's this funny little line here. It topped out about a month ahead of its halving event and started to work its way back down. I suppose that's this image here. This was the 2015-16 price action. And then, you might make the argument we're coming into significant harmonic levels that the market's going to have an awful hard time really justifying moving a hell of a lot higher than this. And then we can also think, actually, I don't have it on here, but we could probably pull up daily charts, and you can start to see things like divergence. So here is our RSI signal here telling us to cool our jets. Here's Willie saying, we're stupidly overbought. Maybe not a good idea to go risk your hard-earned money now. And you can even see the volume, the buying pressure itself, the raw buying volume, the green bars as we move higher here, we're getting less and less buying pressure. So, the writing's on the walls, whether you listen to the writing, most people in the public don't, and they can't. And it's very difficult for them. I would suggest, if anything, try and turn this game of investing into a game, right? Where you're trying to buy against the bottom ends of ranges. Like, this Shiba Inu, what the fuck is this thing? It's just a vehicle to make money from trading. We came in on the buy side down here, and actually, this is even before I left on the little trip that I did there last month, right? I was like, oh my God, I really want to get some of this, W's, bottom ends of range, bull divergence, blah, blah, blah. The thing pops, and of course, I'm paying myself for my hard-earned efforts. This is, the AI story. I don't know. Maybe these guys invented the wheel, and this thing's going to go to the moon. But all I care is now I have a risk-free position. And I sold half on a triple. So here's a great example where maybe don't sell halves on triple or doubles, sell halves on triples, but make it a game. And of course, when the public is stupid euphoric like this, you want to sell into this euphoria, right? Think contrarian, the exact opposite. I think what's going to happen here over the weekend, and we'll probably just line up with this, is we're going to have fun in this space, this Solana space. The community gifted me like $500, and I said, all right, I'll turn this into 100,000. So we've already ramped it up to $1,100. I think that was just like 2 or 3 months ago. So, let's have some fun with this thing. I don't know where the hell it's going to go, but you look at some of these names, and I can understand, through the weekend. Look at these beautiful W's we've already seen. I'm already selling halves on doubles here. That one's probably a little bit old, but there are a couple names. In fact, actually, I heard one of our old timers, Random Task, good old Colin, he came on the, I think maybe he told the community that he was doing one of his broadcasts with the Hero guys yesterday, and I went on there, and a little disappointed in Colin because he knows better. But anyway, he was touting, oh, this time it's different. This time it's different. No, it isn't. It's the same old, same old. But look at this one. I told this community, I was like, you know what? Volume speaks volumes. Look what happened the last time this silly thing got a bunch of volume thrown at it. It went right off the screen. Where the hell's the damn top of this thing? So, I mean, look how high this thing went. So, reload zones. What a surprise. Brian's in there back buying in a back. But I noticed this yesterday, and, I mean, you know what letter of the alphabet's trying to form here? Down, up, down. Somebody came in and bought this thing hard yesterday. And I always say volumes speak volumes. So if this thing goes and breaks out through here, mind you, it looks like they did a little FU against these lows. But I could very easily see a name like this through the weekend run up into these wicks kind of idea. I could very easily see that. And on this kind of volume and this kind of silly market, as I said there a moment ago, I fully expect that the Bitcoin market probably tops out in probably it might even be like a couple more weeks, right? Because this Bitcoin study here, this is a month ahead of the halvening event into the eclipse window. And that's still a couple bars away, right? This is a weekly price chart, 1 week, 2 weeks away before I even think the top's going to come in. So what the hell's going to happen here over the next couple of weeks? I don't know, but I'm more than happy if, they want to go and W these things out on volume. I'll just ride the inertia. So that one's great. And then this one hasn't quite broken out yet, but I got a hunch that it wants to go. But you look at some of these names, again, don't go and buy the tops of markets, but markets that are trying to break out on volume, making W's. I mean, this is everything that we do. This is everything that we teach. So what a big surprise. Brian's in there buying the W's, and look at what she's doing. And again, look at that buying pressure, all that beautiful, wonderful volume. So this is what we're doing. And of course, if this thing pops up, I'll pay myself for my hard-earned efforts. Hard-earned efforts? That doesn't sound right. I got to come up with a better phrase than that. And just rinse and repeat. But there's no way in hell I'm going to be coming in on the buy side on names when they do pop. And there are some of these names that have gone a little crazy. Like this wife, for example. You can't chase. Don't chase. Don't chase. Don't chase. Because look at what happens. When Brian is in there on the sell side, way up here, then look at what the damn price does. It comes all the way right back down to the original place where Brian actually bought. So you have to understand in this game, this is venture capital. Sometimes these names go absolutely crazy, and you have to pay yourself when they go crazy because the crazy won't last. And usually, sadly, when everybody in the public's all circle jerking and we're all going to get rich, and people are going out on social media and say, you have to buy, you have to buy, you have to buy. Not even thinking about the risk, you're probably walking into a trap. So be careful, people. Okay, so we talked a little econs. It was interesting to see how this employment report that on first blush actually appeared to be fairly bullish, but in reality, actually, there's some problems here with the broader economy. Also, too, I'd make the argument, from the broader economy perspective, that the Fed can't really lower interest rates because the data is fairly robust. I think you're going to just get one of these kind of sideways markets here, and I'm a little bit worried that the public is coming in and walking into a trap here. Now, what the good part about what we're going to do next, and I don't know whether you noticed, but gold's going absolutely crazy here. Probably not a good idea to chase the gold market either. But I do see that the gold and the digital gold, cryptocurrency, all that kind of stuff, I do see that they're moving into this eclipse pivot. And we have a special guest today, Cole, who is sort of one of our, I guess, our preeminent site celestial gurus, if you will. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about this pending eclipse event and what he's sort of seeing. I do find it incredibly coincidental that this the market is moving into technical objectives and big fundamental event windows. There's your halvening event right there. And we got this big fat eclipse staring us in the face here as a really nice catalyst for change here. So if you're interested, come on and join us for the after party. I tell you, I think everybody could learn a thing or two listening to Cole here today. All right. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins race. Don't take no win nickels. All that kind of fun talk. We'll see, I guess, you all for the broiler chicken show on Sunday if you are interested. But in the meantime, if your name pops, just make sure to pay yourself a little bit for your efforts. That's the whole point of this, right? Make money from trading. All right. Have yourselves a great day. All the best. And bye for now.